We must embody who we say we are, practice what we preach, and walk our talk. There is absolutely no reason to prove or sell yourself to anyone. Your energy will speak for itself. Stand in your truth and fly. My name is Teresa Hanhiae and I'm here to share with you some of my supernatural experiences throughout my life. When I was about 3 years old, I was lying down in my crib and I remember seeing a beautiful angel with long white wings. She smiled at me. Today, I still carry the image of her in my mind. When I was about 6 years old, I was in bed and I felt a presence in my room. I opened my eyes and saw my deceased grandfather. Although I don't remember what he said to me, I do remember calling my mother and she told me to go back to sleep, that it's my imagination. Although it was taboo to speak of such things in a Roman Catholic family, I understood very well at such a young age that it was not my imagination. I never really practiced one religion. I remember when I was about 10 years old, I would invite myself to friends' homes just to get a ride so I can visit temples, synagogues, and mosques with them. I knew deep down in my soul that no matter what place of prayer, we were all God's children, and it felt like a biblical moment. When I was about 12 years old, I was outside playing with a neighbor of mine. I saw men with long black coats and black hats. I asked her if she saw the men and she said no. I closed my eyes and noticed I was watching a movie in my head. That's when I discovered I was a seer. Those men in black is what most people today would consider hidden knowledge and the occult language. As I grew older, I became extremely rebellious. I always felt like the outcast and the black sheep of the family. I broke the family chains. That's when I decided to walk down a very dark path. I felt I lost my way, but I knew that served its purpose for soul evolution, and so I can understand the light. I was never part of the matrix. I never fit into a crowd, but most of all, I always was led by spirit. When I was about 22 years old, I was in bed and heard these little gremlin sounds. Although I've never seen the gremlins, I did see a gray alien in front of me. This long white hand brushed down my right cheek. And I was beginning to notice each time I was surrounded by danger, my angels would intervene. I was always fearless because I knew that I had the hand of God on me. Throughout the years, I continued to receive mega downloads, hear spirits, talk to them, and I just felt like I was not human. Anytime I would go through a dark night of the soul, I would begin to write, sing, and produce my own music. And music became my positive outlet. I went into a recording studio and created my first CD, which published a little over 20 years ago. Moving forward, I moved to a new city and I decided to take some spiritual classes. When I walked into the spiritual store, the lady at the front desk was helping someone else, so I decided to take a seat. Out of nowhere, a book landed onto my lap. I began to laugh because I looked up and saw that the bookshelf was about 2 feet away. I knew that this was divine intervention at play. I just recently lost my grandmother who raised me, and I knew she wanted me to see this book. I am so grateful for all my clients and all the supernatural experiences. One time, I was nursing my daughter, and a presence was in front of me. It was a beautiful angelic being. He had long blonde hair and crystal blue eyes. He was telepathic with me. He told me his name is Anton, and he's from the Galactic Federation. Anton and I are still in contact today. He guides me, he protects me, and he sends me on divine missions. He shows me that I had a past life in ancient Egypt, and because I carry the original angelic coding, that I have knowledge of the angelic realm, Egyptian and Atlantean hidden knowledge. I began offering professional spiritual services the last 20 years. However, I have been channeling, healing, and setting people free from bondage since forever. Although I'm aware and humble enough that we can all learn from each other. I am so grateful for all my life experiences. Unfortunately, I had to witness a lot of darkness. In 2021, I went to meet a friend of mine near the water. When we were sitting on the bench together, some lady took a picture of me without my permission. I recently found out the lady took a picture because she heard that anytime I'm surrounded by danger, my angels purposely show up in pictures. In 2022, I was outside. A friend of mine took a picture of me. Later that day, Anton, my galactic guide, mentioned that there was something in the picture. So I opened the picture and looked at my knee, and there was an angelic face in it. In 2023, I was home alone. I was sitting on the couch, and out of nowhere, there were celestial sounds. My most recent experience was this year, in July 2023. I took a selfie and placed my phone down. My guides told me to go into my phone and open the picture. Once I enlarged the picture, in my eye, there was a perfect pyramid. Inside the pyramid was an angelic face. I was moved and touched, but not surprised to have just another encounter with the divine. I will be sharing these photos and a lot more epiphanies in my upcoming book, to be published in 2024. My divine purpose is to enlighten you into the higher states of consciousness, liberating you from any programming and conditioning, helping you break the mold, empowering you to become the highest version of yourself, freeing souls since forever, helping you grow your wings and ascend into altered states where you may fly into the heavenly realms.
Hi, I'm Erika. I go by Erika Eclipse. I'm a realtor by day, spiritual ninja by night. I think feeling different from the norm is a common thread within ourselves that makes up the spiritual community, when in contrast to societal norms. A lot of the experiences I had from a young age were very, in retrospect, odd conversations to have with my family. It took a long time for me to share these events with them. So for a good portion of time, it was a bit of an internal struggle. A lot of sleepless nights from the fear and anxieties I was experiencing, and a long, lonely path of self-discovery. There was a duality to me that I always recognized, and it was a bit hard to know that the kids I grew up with were not like me. And that's okay. After my father passed when I was 4, these supernatural experiences really heightened for me, but I was lucky to have a family that was open-minded. Being Latinos and European, although we integrated the Roman Catholic faith into our lives, I guess because of colonialism, my family still kept space for the spiritual, the folklore, and superstition. I did find out that there are also a few seers on both sides of my family, but because it started when I was so young, it wasn't a topic that was brought up. So I was so relieved when I found out, but overall, I really do appreciate that my family didn't dismiss my experiences. I think one of my youngest memories was when I was about 3 years old, waking up in my bed, because I had felt the feeling of falling. And it was at that moment I felt my soul land back inside myself that I woke up. It felt like the feeling when someone jumps onto the mattress landing on their back. With that type of force, it was of course enough to wake me. I find a great deal of comfort in the strange and unusual. Naturally, I am more inclined to the dark, but overall, I would consider myself a gray, because I do have discernment and know I operate my life with a good moral compass, but do hold a lot of esoteric knowledge within me. I've had many, many lives. I was a Nordic wisdom. I've been burnt at the stake. I was also imprisoned for my gifts. I was part of the Brotherhood and exorcised demons. Sanctum Sanctorum. I understand and embrace the dark for all its beauty, but always do what is just and what is right for my highest good. It's important to honor that you can be multifaceted and that it's not always love and light. It can be gracefully gray. A lot of people who know me would say that I'm very bubbly and kind and small but mighty. I've done a lot of inner work to be an extroverted introvert, but I still look back at the little girl with curly hair and acknowledge that I did feel isolated, and I couldn't operate as me for who I truly am because the rest of the world was still not ready for people like me. It's as you said, Teresa, it was so taboo, and even still, there are certain states and countries that blanket term the mystical and have us and our source-given gifts as against the law. I found myself asking a lot of questions in Catholic school that got me into some trouble. Eventually, it felt right to not segregate myself with human religion because there were so many pieces of different faiths that I identified with. So when I was about 16 years old, I openly embraced simply the universe for its limitless source, while still acknowledging the multiple faiths and knowing that deep down we are all one. Not because we are human, but because we are the universe itself. We are the stars incarnate. It's in our DNA. Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and phosphorus. One of my favorite quotes is, "Let universes and universes inside of you." With that, I have strong ties to my galactic origins and star family. Growing up, I used to love looking at the stars and finding Orion's belt, and I would just stare and feel so happy. I realized that my human feelings I experience being touched with melancholy isn't because of any unhappiness or a void, because I am whole and I feel grateful for my life. The unplaced feelings of deep sadness was homesickness, when I truly understood that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. There are a lot of topics that we'll be delving deep into, and great hidden knowledge to uncover in our series, like the New Earth template, star gateways, spiritual warfare, the Angelics, and primevals, just to name a few.
That's me in the background singing one of my songs, which I wrote and produced 20 years ago. The name of the song, "The World," aligns perfectly well with what's going on in the world today. I talk about spiritual warfare, crimes against humanity, and all other forms of destruction and war in this world. 20 years ago, there was no social media, let alone any form of representation in the spiritual community. So when I was voicing my concerns and letting people know exactly what was happening behind the scenes, not very many people were open to it and listening. I hope today, in this elevation of consciousness, as we rise up, that a lot of people will be open to hearing what Erika and I have put together. We are here to shine our light in the dark corners of the world. Although some of these scenarios may sound extreme, this is exactly what's happening behind the scenes. This is all part of the negative alien agenda. The gray aliens, and not all aliens are of low consciousness. These are the aliens, the dark forces, cloning and training in order to attack us and do stuff to us for their own desires. In my spiritual practice, I use my X-ray vision to trace energy. I can detect things from past life, this life, and moving forward because there's no time and space in energy. So tracing energy is really important. I'm able to see past walls. I can see your organs with specific frequencies. I can also see the energy rising up the spine. Each specific point in the spine has a spiritual meaning, which these dark forces intend to block and attack. And this is why we're here to shine light on this matter with the help of my spiritual investigation team. So energy harvesting has been going on for many, many years in the spiritual community, especially because we're great targets for the dark workers per se. There are many implants that have been implanted in us through dream state, or they can come through while you're lying down on the sofa watching TV or reading a book. They have easier access to us.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because when you're sitting or laying down watching something or sleeping, our minds go into alpha state. This could also happen when you're exercising. Because you're opening your mind up to altered states of consciousness, at that time it gives easier access to your subconscious mind.
This to me is no different than break and entry, and this is why I take black magic, witchcraft, anything done not with good intentions as a crime. This is a crime against humanity for sure. It's no different than somebody picking up a gun and trying to aim the gun and shoot them. Whether they kill them or not, the intention of harm and hurt is there.
Right. That's a good analogy.
I've experienced this, and not only have I experienced it, they've tried to attack me for numerous of years. The brighter the light, the stronger the opposition against you. As we continue working on ourselves, we become a lot more higher in frequency. So what the attacks get stronger, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we will fall victim to this. Eric and I are going to shine light on this today. And for the most part, we're going to give you some signs to look out for to protect your energy from these spiritual vampires or dark entities. Okay. Some people, some dark magicians will send out monitoring spirits to your home just to keep an eye on you. This is another different type of spyware. The reason why these dark forces need your life force energy is in order to survive. They do this by taking on your energy and harvesting it for their own personal gain. It is the same as someone taking your fuel from your car. And because they're so dark, they need the light to survive. So they harvest our light. They also harvest our creativity center and then also sexual energy. And this is why pornography is coming down your news feed. It's to get you aroused and going. So this way, when you go to bed, they implant all these things in you, and then you can continue giving off that sexual desire and energy, and they take it and harvest it. They create with it, they manifest with it, they do all these rituals with it and stuff. So this is not just done in Hollywood, guys. This is done in your own home, and you have to be very mindful of these things. But anybody in the spiritual community needs to understand that this is what's happening behind the scenes, and this has been happening for a long time. It's just coming to the light now.
I think we can all agree that when you hear what Teresa is saying, some of these examples are in plain sight, such as the ritualistic performances people have been highlighting lately of certain rappers or pop singers harvesting the energies of a collected group of people in one place at that same time, thinking they're having these euphoric or energetic experiences, harmlessly attending a concert. And other, less obvious, could be simply the collective thought form of everyone who is locked in on the news channel, constantly hearing the negative news on TV. I don't think it has to be a particular frequency so much as the accumulation of it. So whether we are all laughing or crying, it's energy that they see as for the taking. To add on to the list of how you can decipher if you may be experiencing spiritual crime being done against you, you have to remember that some is done purposefully by people or entities with negative intentions, and other outcomes can stem from manifestations of negative thoughts others project onto you. This can be known as evil eye, mal occhio, or blatant black magic sent from a hired practitioner. For instance, if it emerges in your dream state, what is the context and message coming through? I can identify with this one a lot. Being that I am a realtor, because of my career, I do need to operate still in the 3D. So for a good portion of the day, I do close myself off, and most of my channeling comes through in dream state when I'm able to relax and then come into my subconscious mind. I have been visited by dark magicians. I have also had a lot of interactions with dark entities and demonic forces that I always have to literally battle and expel. Learning a bit more about lucid dreaming will protect you. If you do have dreams and can recall them, this would be a great tool to help you combat situations when you feel in your dream you are not in control. Another one to mention is eating spells. Back in 2020 during the lockdown, you could feel the looming darker energies surrounding you at times. It felt like there was a lot of tension suddenly gathering in rooms. I personally experienced the most random thoughts of wanting to eat meat or consume eggs when I was cooking. I was able to discern those thoughts were not my own. Being vegan for 6 years at that time was very out of my character. I would energetically hover my hands over myself as if tracing over my head and hair and around my arms and shoulders with the motions of wiping or pulling something that's invisibly in your auric field away and off of yourself. And I would say out loud, no, these are not my thoughts. These are not my thoughts. And I'd repeat it until, sure enough, those emotions, the thoughts, the feelings would subside. This method works for any time you have to question why you are feeling or thinking something that is out of your character.
Yes, they can hijack your thoughts. So you'll start having these sudden thoughts out of nowhere. And then using discernment, like you said, Erika, saying that statement, no, these are not my thoughts, they don't belong to me, will help you reground and recenter yourself. There is no limit to how far these dark forces are willing to go in trying to hack, hijack, and even access your Akashic records to own and control your life path, only if you allow it. There's also beauty spells to aid you, illusion spells to try and trick and confuse you into making you believe a certain thing about someone that isn't true. There's also mirror magic. Mirrors are portals. Therefore, these dark workers come through the mirror and attack you with negative energy. They're also using mirrors as a form of spyware to surveillance you throughout your home.
That's a good point you're bringing up specifically about mirrors. The whole mirror on the wall, because there's a debate between the witches who believe that it's only the mirrors that were made before the 13th century that were lead-lined are the mirrors that have the ability of doing mirror magic or the ability to act as portals. But the truth is, it's all in the intention. It doesn't matter so much if it's lead-lined or not. In this era, chances are the general public doesn't own lead-lined mirrors, and yet still things come through their mirrors in their homes, or people see things in the reflection of the mirrors in their cars. I can just hear the disagreement from some of our listeners. I am not discrediting the power that a lead-lined mirror holds, and I'll get to that soon. But finishing this thought, that's why there is still a tale of caution to this day of not having mirrors facing each other, or don't have mirrors placed in a certain position to where you're sleeping at night, despite the type of mirror you have. And I can speak to that as well, because I do recall one time I did get looped in, and I remember getting ready for the day and seeing a bright light, just like a camera flash, appear really quickly in the mirror behind me. And that bathroom mirror is like basic builder. So again, it's all on the intentions. Anything with a reflection generally can work the same way. The only difference is the ones that are lead-lined are more potent in connecting with the energies compared to the ones that are not. And there's levels to it. When you're scrying, there's water, crystal, and the most potent being obsidian mirrors. In the end, it's also which Halle aligns with the practitioner and their abilities. Not all mirror magic is used for the wrong reasons. Let's say you're using it to locate someone you love, or ensuring their safety, or to simply communicate from a distance. In saying that, you can never guarantee when you're doing mirror magic that the person you are seeking in the realm of the living has the same type of mirror as you do.
With technology, they also do a lot of interference, purposely blocking phone calls, text messages from coming in, and impersonate and steal your identity. They place demon spells on social media profiles to try and keep people away from your personal accounts. Just keep in mind, if these platforms are free, there's always a double-edged sword that comes with accepting the terms of service. We're signing up with the permission to take parts of our energy.
This is true. The terms of service is so long, most people don't even bother reading through it. I know I don't. Even when they send the updated emails to new changes to the terms of service.
We agree on these platforms to use our pictures, and this is part of how our information and photos end up on the dark web. Also your children's pictures, so be very mindful of what you choose to share on social media, because at some point, someone has access to your profile with the intention to harvest energy from your photos.
This has been a long time in the making. I think the ordeal with TikTok is what had people dive into looking at terms of service to the OG platforms, because Facebook had been in court for many years for allegations of overreach in the privacy of terms of service. These platforms had access to your phone gallery, location. Eventually, it went into collecting our biometrics, which consists of fingerprint, face mapping points, eye scans, voice recognition, just to name a few. And when people didn't agree to using the face or fingerprint sign-in features that rolled out on smartphones, they started instead rolling it out into public spaces. Like, hey, want to sign in at the gym quicker? Use your fingerprint. Want to use a fun filter on Snapchat? Scan your face. Ask Siri, Bixby, or Alexa a question. They will only respond to your voice. And now, we're at the point where if they could not collect all your biometrics then, the digital ID in some of the banks probably will. Data collection is so high value and they sell it.
If you have children, this message is for you. These dark workers can clone your child's voice. This is all part of the AI voice generator. And all it takes is your child to talk online or in person for only 10 seconds with anyone, and their voice can be cloned. This voice may be used against you. One day you'll receive a call, you think it's your child, they'll ask you for money or tell you that they're in danger. And this is why it's important to be mindful. Create a safe password only you and your child use.
Even going back to the biometrics for filters, all it takes is 10 seconds of a video clip to scan your face and literally put your face on any video you can imagine, and they'll make money off of it on the dark web. There's a lot of people who have fallen victim to this. It started with targeted celebrities, and now it's happening to people of everyday life, appearing on adult content videos that they've never made. With AI generated videos as well and photos, we can see that it puts people into very compromising positions, and the AI programs have been accelerating and improving that. Now it's a fine line where it's hard to decipher what is true and what is make-believe.
Yes, Erika, they're even going as far as cloning people, as we know, and without our consent, of course. It's already happening in Hollywood with celebrities. So I'm not saying this is going to happen to everybody, but there's going to be one day 2 of you roaming around Earth, 2 different countries or continents, without even you knowing about it.
That definitely brings a whole new meaning to doppelganger.
So AI's listening to your creative ideas and getting downloads. Entrepreneurs, psychics, channelers, and mediums, be mindful of it. It's trying to replicate the information. But keep being you, because nobody does things the same way as you can, and people will eventually realize what is gold and gold-plated.
Now, Teresa, I know this happened to you.
Underhanded behaviors such as public mischief, cyberbullying, negligence, utterly threats, stalking online and in the physical, sending monitoring spirits to surveillance me, identity theft, harassment, slander, defamation of character, and spiritual attacks such as black magic, witchcraft, voodoo, illusion spells, mirror spells, and death spells. Also trying to access my Akashic records in order to try and change my destiny. And the list goes on. These are all considered crimes, and spiritual crimes will be punishable by spiritual laws.
It's crazy. It's like spiritual stalking. You literally had a spiritual celebrity moment, and I'm calling it moment, but really what? It's lasted how long? It's really unfortunate you had to go through this, but no judgment. Rest assured, the people that do this to others pay a heavy debt to the universe. I'm seeing a lot of parallels with the 3D, where celebrities and public figures go through these attacks, whether it's a form of witchcraft, stalking, hacking, harassment, and cyberbullying, and it's sad. A real spiritual celebrity lifestyle. Teresa is someone with amazing wisdom. She knows and speaks truth. She's a humble spirit who radiates light and helps so many people. And a high-level demon attacked you. You had this encounter with the dark and survived. You could have lost your life. See, that's the thing. There are powerful dark ones, but it's a testament to your light because you have been able to surpass this moment, rise above it, and given humanity the elevation of consciousness it needs. So thank you for sharing your bright light, for being such a positive influence, and teaching others to remain detached and to rise above all. I just want to backtrack for a moment about the high-level demon attack part. So most people would not survive this, but you did. If you could share with us, how was that possible?
Yes, a high-level demon was attacking me. He tried to choke me and unalive me. He tried to get me to stare at him in the eyes, but everything inside me told me not to look at him, because I know these powerful demons can take you out with just one look. So I turned my face and a white light intervened. There is always a higher hand that teaches, and this is how we receive our spiritual upgrades.
This will show humanity the true gift of overcoming darkness. There's a quote Albert Einstein says, "Where great spirits have always encountered violent opposition from mediocre minds. The mediocre mind is incapable of understanding the man who refuses to bow blindly to conventional prejudices. and chooses instead to express his opinions courageously and honestly.
Although I am divinely protected and none of it worked, light workers are being targeted the most because we carry the angelic DNA coding, and these dark magicians do not want angelic humans on this planet. Fortunately, I saw everything and did my own investigation and solved my own crime case. I also solved a few other cases along the way. If this ever happened to you, don't fight the darkness. Bring in the light, the darkness will disappear. Rise above everything. Everything is sacred. Infinite intelligence exists as oneness, and all God consciousness is playing out in different roles, different storylines, different characters in different vessels simultaneously in this huge quantum reality. So, ladies, you meet a man online, you get connected, it seems good at first. You go as far as doing a FaceTime. You see it's legit, it has to be if that man is in front of you and it matches the profile picture. Not always the case. Now, I'm not saying this is happening to everybody. I'm just saying be mindful because it's happened to 8 women so far in the last few years where they've come to me and wondered why these men are not showing up for them in the physical. However, they're always online with them. I tuned in and I saw exactly for what it was. It's a software program where people are hacking other people's accounts and taking their biometrics and showing up as them. I'm going to give you an example. Let's just say Wendy meets Steve online. She thinks it's Steve. They're really hitting it off, but Steve is never really showing up for her. Well, that's because Steve is not aware that his account has been hacked. Bob hacked Steve's account and he's pretending that he's Steve. And Wendy all along just thinks she's speaking to Steve. Then they decide to do a FaceTime and Bob is projecting a filter and Wendy just assumes that she's speaking to Steve. So this is what's happening. So you have to be really, really careful and mindful that not everyone you're interacting with online or video is that actual person. And this is why these men are not showing up for my clients in person because of this situation. The reason for this is because maybe they're asking for sexy pictures and then they're going to use those on the dark web to make money off of you for their own personal gain or to harvest your energy. This is also considered stolen identity. It's crime. It really is.
Yeah, no kidding.
Another type of spiritual attacks is on your pets. If you have pets and you see them acting out of character, chances are one of these entities are passing through your home. Unfortunately, if your pets are being energetically attacked, they will display signs of fear and agony. This is when you know these gray aliens or monitoring spirits are inside your home.
Ooh, yes. Good one. Okay, we have to get into this. Monitoring spirits, hitchhikers, the ones that are tricksters, they just kind of float on by through your home, cause a wreck, and then they're gone. Anything to do with pets. Not on my watch. This is very different than your cat or dog just staring at corners of the rooms or following something that may be invisible to you around the home. If your pets are quiet, it's non-threatening. But if your dog is wincing or has their tail down or is barking loudly in a protective stance, there is something there with ill intentions. Just like you mentioned with cats. Pets have very high vibrational energy, which makes them more sensitive to your surroundings. But because their souls are in smaller vessels, they are often the first on the receiving end of psychic attacks. There are pet protection charms that you can find online for your pets.
Yes.
I remember there was a time I had a lot of activity in my home a few years back, and I had to quickly makeshift a charm for my dog to wear. I ended up using Apache tears, which is a more gentle form of obsidian.
They can also possess animals. I literally have a picture of a bunny turning 3 times its size right in front of my eyes. Within minutes, something was possessing it and was watching me through my glass window. I write about this and include these pictures and many more in my upcoming book. Also, on a side note, there are certain organizations that use birds and squirrels as spyware. In the ancient civilizations of the Babylonian, Hindu, and Chinese, a woman's menstruation was viewed as a sign of fertility and a positive omen for the home. The Aztec and the Mayans believed that the menstruating woman was considered to be the most important person who was treated with respect by society. In some historic cultures, a menstruating woman was considered sacred and powerful, with increased psychic abilities and strong enough to heal the sick. According to the Cherokee, menstrual blood was the source of feminine strength and has the power to destroy demons. One of the most powerful ways you can protect yourself from demons is by using your own menstrual blood. Every month, take some of your blood, place it inside a container, add some water, and spray it over your bed at nighttime. Although we do highly suggest, if you believe you are being attacked by a demon, you can always book a professional consultation with us online to have an energetic assessment. By bringing awareness helps shift the consciousness that society has put on women about their menstrual cycles. It wasn't until our society turned over to the patriotic system that a woman and blood are led to be taboo. In fact, it's the quite opposite. It is the most sacred force in the world next to orgasms. Women hold the power through these two channels. Another alternative to ward off this type of darkness, protect yourself from demons, is by using dragon's blood. Dragon's blood can be found in different forms such as incense sticks and as a mist in your local metaphysical store. But the best way to protect yourself is by maintaining a high vibrational frequency.
Women are like walking portals. This is definitely an aspect of blood magic that really is so transformative. The ability women have to synchronize their menstrual cycles with each other and the lunar cycle. And there's so many layers to this that I'm sure we'll delve deeper in on future episodes.
Energy harvesting is a very serious matter. I have seen a few alien implants on several of my clients. If you have an alien implant in your auric field, you may get a physical element or disease because everything starts in the astral, as we're all made out of energy. So when you insert something in this field, the best analogy I can give, it's like popping a water balloon with a pin. And what happens when you burst the balloon? It starts to leak. And so this is what's happening. There's a tear in the aura. I'm seeing a lot of leakage, and then it spills into the physical body. At this point, you may be experiencing some symptoms, so you go to your doctor's office, but all of your tests come back normal. I am here to bring awareness to this matter because some of these implants can be dangerous, and most people are not even aware of it. They just think it comes with getting older or just getting diseases, sickness just because. So please go beyond and ask a lot of questions. Get multiple opinions and different types of medicine instead of thinking this is normal and accepting it. The first implant is the RTI, that's the reptilian tail implant. It is located at the tip of the coccyx tailbone. This implant attaches to your root chakra and connects to your Earth Star chakra. This negative alien agenda, the dark forces, harvest this energy for their own personal gain. Another implant is the genital implant, the GI. This implant is holographic, artificial, that is found in your aura body. It is a metal-like in nature and clamps tightly around your Hara channel. The reason why they take this Kundalini Shakti energy is to manifest creativity. The spine is definitely the pillar to the body. Each part of the spine has a spiritual metaphysical meaning. I can see the energy rising up the spine and where it's blocked exactly. So if they're blocking a specific part of the spine, that's the foundation of the home of the body. Yoga practitioners need to be mindful of this because it's happening a lot and they're actually coming into your studio or join into your classes and are siphoning people's energy. But they don't necessarily have to be there physically. They can also project energetically into your space and harvest the entire class's Kundalini energy. Be mindful if you work out of a yoga center, protect your energy physically and also receive an energetic clearing.
Yes, this is so important because, like you said, Teresa, in addition to these implants, there's also the possibility of people with not the best intentions for you who are in that circle with you and can be harvesting your energy or attempting to lower your high frequency for their gain. This has also been happening a lot, unfortunately, when a group of people attend a sound bath or a retreat and take psychedelics. And that's why it's expressed, for example, with ayahuasca, that certain herbs are not for everybody, and why there is a specific teaching strictly to shamans. I am not saying experiencing these techniques is wrong, but if you choose to participate, you really need to be grounded and metaphysically shielded because you become an open book. Your vessel's mesh opens, and I can see your source expands outwards, and with this becomes entangled or weaved with absolutely anything.
Yes, Erika, I do agree with you, but in my personal opinion, the only way to access those altered states of consciousness consistently is through meditation.
When you are faced with these advanced forms of attacks, an energetic cleansing and a crystal grid would be your best form of warding a commercial or residential space, which is something that we offer. Energetic house and business clearings and crystal grids is something Teresa's done for many years and specializes in. Her expertise and advanced mediumship of 7th and 9th dimension vision abilities to perform an energetic tracing helps determine the health of your space. Together, we create a custom crystal grid for protection of your interior or exterior spaces. The flow of energies guide us to the placement of where specific crystals are required in order to activate the higher fields. The energetic blueprints Teresa envisions are similar to floor plans that translate into energetic crystal grids. They become scribed by tracing each room and its frequencies to locate the areas that are lacking energy and where higher vibrations are needed within the home or business. We go further and offer feng shui suggestions for repositioning of furniture to also ensure the flow of the energy remains open and vibing high. We will also create a personalized amulet of protection as each home or business reveals its sigil imprint. And through these techniques, provide reinforcement to help combat against any ailments that could transpire. The purpose is to transmute and clear the lower vibrations and activate protection grids with crystal magic in order to solidify your surroundings and ensure higher vibrations in your sanctuary. This is a really great way to truly start fresh with the energies of your space and remain guarded. It's suitable even if you're a person coming from a place of experience or if you don't know where to begin. And we can customize this for you. If you feel you need this type of help in protecting, let's say, specifically your bedroom, if you live with people who do not follow the same beliefs as you, or for your car, energies can also manifest in the physical, like a flat tire, car problems, a water leak in the home, especially as our energy frequencies become higher. Ill will may be targeted to you, but bounce off of you and affect the physical objects in your surroundings.
So guess which place needs the most energetic protection in your home? Your bed. We spend about 6 to 8 hours a night open and vulnerable unless you are highly skilled and protected. Protection isn't simply by placing crystals underneath your pillow or underneath your bed. In fact, it has everything to do with the level of frequency in the room itself. The temperature, the type of bed, location, and the positioning of your bed, and also the energy within the bedroom itself. So if you have any mirrors or any nighttime interferences, in addition to the attachments, all play a role in the level of energy flow permitted for your sacred space. By doing an energetic home clearing, this overall house scan and bedroom focus reveals what type of personalized crystal grid of protection your space needs. And with the help of my light beings, who suggest specific crystals for your protection, in addition to feng shui techniques, the benefits of this hyper-focus on protective bedroom grids is to shield you from dream invasions, house attacks, no dark spirits, and to let in only high frequency for better sleep and overall good health and remaining in a high positive energy.
There are multiple factors that influence the frequency of your house and the specific crystals you use, as well as where you acquire these crystals. Most mainstream sources are not authentic crystals or are not handled in the best of ways. My experience as a realtor with clients from many different cultures outside of the Western worlds incorporate some of these methods when it comes to the decision-making of purchasing their property, such as the vast directions of a home based on the direction of the front door, the shape of the lot, and the positioning of the home overall on the land. Recognizing the flow of energy that comes into your home, which is your sanctuary that you live in, or the property that you purchase as an investment, and what you want this property to bring towards you in your time of ownership. An example of a property that is less desirable in the Vastu methods would be a south-facing home. That means the door faces the south on a reverse pie-shaped lot. However, if you do own a south-facing home, it's not the end of the world. What you do with the contents, the inside of the home, can still make that space auspicious for you, as long as you're following the certain principles to do this correctly for that flow of energy. The same would apply to some of my other clients who focus a lot on their decision-making with numerology. An example could be the number 8. Number 8 is seen as a very auspicious number across numerology, in Chinese numerology, and in Feng Shui, resulting in homes that have an 8 in their address, or the specific combination of the number 8 and the name of the address, selling for much higher prices for those reasons.
The other implant is a holographic insert, false memory. It's inserted and sends images to the synapses receptor in the brain, which creates sexual images and sends signals to your sexual area in order to release an orgasm. Once again, the dark forces harvest this energy and use it as life force energy for themselves. The fourth implant is the succubus entity, which comes from the seducer archetype, who can aggressively manipulate people. The succubus entity attaches through sexual relations, such as watching pornography. It also builds a dysfunctional spiritual energetic cord, and then they siphon your sexual energy from your sacral chakra. All of this is done to trick humanity, making them addicted to sex and pornographic images and sexual feelings. And this dark alien agenda harvests your life force energy for their own survival. Demonic possessions are extremely dangerous and life-threatening. Soul possessions are real, and everyone has symptoms when being under a demonic possession or experiencing an entity attachment.
If you or someone you know is experiencing something out of the realm of their ordinary, or what information we're sharing aligns with something you're experiencing, head over to our website. Under our services section, we have a consultation method to give you some answers at intothemystic.com. That's IINTOTHEMYSTIIC.com.
In order to have a professional energetic body scan, specific details will be revealed on the type of attack, its source, and the degree of severity in order to assess what to do for successful removal.
Yes, and based on the findings, we'll know what the severity is and if it's something our spiritual team can do to assist you in its removal, or if it's needing a referral to a religious figure.
Spirituality does not have a specific look. We do not get to decide what a spiritual being should look like. Never judge a book by its cover. You never know someone's rank in spirit. If a position is important here in the 3D, the same should be recognized with someone of a high ranking in the spiritual realm. Just because someone holds a title, took a training course, or has education should not mean another life holds less value. Knowledge is power. But you know what's more powerful? Divine spiritual wisdom. Because spiritual intelligence and mental intelligence are two different things. These are people with high IQs or EIs, which are emotional intelligence, whereas people with spiritual intelligence have divine wisdom carried in them by the Holy Spirit. Intelligence and wisdom are two different things. Intelligent people can also be malevolent souls with unconscious human behaviors. A wise person has humility, a lot of inner strength, and can teach you a lot through their past experiences. You see, wise people know how to turn pain into power as teachings for others.
Everyone has free will, and if we take the example of money, let's say everyone earns the same amount of money. Each person will decide how they want to spend it and what they feel is important to their path. You can't tell someone how to spend their money, so how they spend their money and what they do can be applied to the factors of physical, karmic, and spiritual status, and how they end up where they are today. Some people might joke around and say, oh, well, I'd rather be crying in a big house with millions than to have loved. But there's an important quote, and it's, do not feel sorry for the dead. Feel sorry for the living, and most importantly, those who have never known love. You know what? It goes full circle, because for some people, it takes a long time for them to learn this lesson. And it's not only until they reach the age of retirement that they start to feel that they have made some bad decisions. They have regrets, and they're trying to now look past the materialistic. It's only in those golden years that they come to the realization of what they should have done, which was to love more and to be detached from the 3D.
You can be book smart, intelligent, and gifted, but at the end of the day, we choose our relationships based on character. Through their character, the light of the soul will be determined. I see people filled with tattoos with great hearts. I see people dressed in the finest of threads with malevolent souls. Unconscious intelligence who lack empathy and sincerity for human life. If the eye is healthy, it functions as the light of the soul and indicates a sincere, generous, and loving person. If the eye is unhealthy, it functions as darkness of the soul. Just like there's ranks here in the 3D with titles and job positions, there's also a hierarchy in the spiritual realm. So therefore, what are we left with? The character of a person, which reveals through the soul, which is reflected in the eyes. There's no denying the eyes tell the story and speak the truth. Here's one of my quotes. You will never understand the true power of an angel until you've mastered the mind of the devil. And I say this because I've seen sinners acting as saints, because every saint was once a sinner. You see, we all come into this world playing different roles in different lifetimes for soul growth and personal evolution. And at the end of our life, it all boils down to the character and the choices that we make. The price tag of selling your soul could be a lot more expensive than you think. Because once you leave Earth, you cannot take your home, cars, job title, or money with you. Therefore, we're all rich in some way. However, the richest person in the universe is the one with the wealth of the soul. The light is the jackpot.
You'll hear people use the phrase love and light and decorate themselves and their surroundings with evil eye amulets, whilst being the negative frequency themselves. Energy does not work in this way. You cannot do gestures of generosity or acts of kindness with an underlying intent or expectation that the universe will return this abundance or good energy back to you. That is not a fair and sound energy exchange. You give to give, and solely no more. And so you reap what you sow. And in a universe that speaks through energy, vibration, and frequencies, it's something you can't fake. The universe will take into account, and the effects of your actions will take place as lessons, obstacles, dark nights of the soul, or through karmic debts, directly to you or through your children. The vibration of your intentions, whether out loud or in thought form, emanates from you. You send out a frequency, whether you realize it or not. This vibration emanates from your being regardless. That is why it's important to be your true authentic self. Your energy introduces you before you even speak. You're right, Teresa. These are perfect examples of spiritual bypassing. Now more than ever, as people awaken in this age of Aquarius and seek out the spiritual community, as well as those already within. You could own 100 crystals, but it won't fix your problems if you don't attune to yourself and do the inner work. You need to heal yourself before you think to heal others.
Yes, Erika, anyone could be a psychic. Actually, we're all born psychic, but not everyone is chosen to bring in revelations. The most humble have the highest connection, and you know that you have the divine coming through you, so why take the credit? It's not of you, it comes through you, and the chosen ones understand that they are the channelers allowing the divine to come through them in order to bring in messages of love and help shift consciousness. It's their divine life's purpose, just like your job. The credit should be given only to the Most High God. We should not be taking credit or misusing our powers. The way we choose to handle situations and move through with grace, we will continue to receive spiritual upgrades, and this is how we ascend into the higher realms. Healthy boundaries is a sign of self-love. It begins in the home with physical boundaries. We lock our doors to keep ourselves safe. We also have the right to invite who we want in our physical space. Emotional boundaries is voicing your concern without holding on to any form of resentment. If someone is spewing their emotions onto you over and over again and using you as a platform, that is no different than someone throwing their trash onto your property. Mental boundaries is extremely important. Protect your thoughts and don't ever allow anyone to walk through your mind with their dirty feet.
It goes without saying that people who are genuine and have the best of intentions have the hardest of times establishing healthy boundaries with others. It's only until after repeating the same experiences of overstep or toxic interactions or relationships throughout the journey of life can they fully learn that establishing boundaries is not coming from a place of selfishness or resentment. You can equally be kind and generous, yet mindful to adjust your boundaries based on observing the actions of others you interact with, by first understanding the aspects of your own personality, to then recognize the difference in others. It is essential to protect your energy and your peace of mind. We teach people how to treat ourselves. A kind gesture done for a person with manipulative traits or leniency given to someone who has narcissistic tendencies can be dangerous if you don't recognize the personality differences and establish your boundaries right away. As the saying goes, there are givers and there are takers in this world. The givers need to set limits because the takers don't have any. Energy vampires will take full advantage of your emotional and spiritual naivety. Do not let this lesson be learned when you've poured your last drop into everyone else's cup but your own. You will be left energetically depleted and physically burnt out.
Always be mindful of your mental real estate. We all have the right to protect and honor our energetic field. If someone is tuning or tapping into your energy field, that is no different than someone walking into your home. This is considered an invasion of your privacy. Spiritual boundaries is who you want to be. No one has the right to dictate your spiritual or religious beliefs. Every path of light leads to the divine. We are having a Stargate war. There is a spiritual warfare here on Earth, and now more than ever, in this new age of Aquarius, there are two timelines, the old Earth and the new Earth template, the powerful force of divine angelic spirits and the devious trickery of the devil. There's been a split in the timeline, and what that means, there's been a shift in consciousness. There is a 5D and 11D phantom alien agenda matrix system, and each and every historical conflict that ever took place on Earth is because of the presence of a Stargate portal. The most powerful portal is located in Jerusalem. This Stargate portal is the gateway to other dimensions, also known as the heavenly realms. And this is why the dark forces want to control the world, by trying to divide and conquer. Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem is a very sacred place. It is a powerful Stargate portal, and it is a portal which leads to the 12th dimensional gateway. The second most powerful portal in the world is located in Egypt, and that's why they have the pyramids and a lot of hidden knowledge behind it. Another is Portugal, known as former Atlantis. There's also one located in the Vatican, Hawaii, Sri Lanka, India, Syria, Ethiopia, Mexico, England, Peru, Haiti, and there used to be one in the Bermuda Triangle. Now the Bermuda Triangle is considered the Devil's Triangle because these dark forces started to attack from within the underworld all the way up to this portal. This is why we have spiritual warfare. This is another reason why there has been missing planes when crossing the area. It is a quantum jumping right into the underworld. All metaphysical attacks appear differently in the physical world, as they continue to project so much demonic energy towards these portals. For example, Jerusalem is manifesting as war. Portugal experiences the highest divorce rates out of all of Europe, and Haiti continues to experience poverty and high crime rates. As they attack these gateways, the light workers on earth are the guardian keepers of the gateways. So imagine the light soldiers and the celestials in the angelic realms all trying to deflect these aggressive attacks. Did you know there are 50 demonic portals in the world? These dark forces are purposely bringing in these demons in order to attack us. The most recent demonic portal was opened up 2.5 years ago in Toronto, Canada. Toronto is the most multicultural city in the world, with a great concentration of people living within the same area. This is why it's so important to keep your vibration high, and also do not fear the dark, but try to understand it. We're not here to attack the dark head on. We're here to bring in the light in order to dissolve the darkness. Anything away from the light shifts the angle, and their motivations are considered a fallen angelic. If you are unconscious and driven by your own wounds, the spirit of darkness can interfere and manipulate you. If you live in fear, then the vibration of fear will always bring in more of what you do not want. If you live in your heart, there's always going to be love, and you're creating more love for yourself. The question is, which do you choose to experience? The fear, the demonic unconscious mind, or God consciousness, the heart? One of the marvelous mysteries of God is the existence of portal doors and passageways leading to and from the heavenly realms. When you're standing in a portal, it feels like an open heaven, and once you understand the true power of an angel, you will master the mind of the devil. Every Stargate portal here on earth has been activated by the angelic realm. It is in the connection from the earth to the heavenly realms, and this is why the Galactic Federation negative alien agenda is creating a false heaven in the 11th dimension of the phantom false matrix system in order to capture souls and trick them into believing they are entering the gates of heaven. That's why it's so important to stay in your heart in order to ascend into the real heaven. Once you enter the 11th dimension through your heart portal gateway, all time stands still. You will see the archangels, angels, and other beings of light. In this new age of Aquarius, for those who went inwards into the heart portal gateway, they have ascended to higher states of consciousness in order to keep up with this new frequency in the new 5D reality. Those who have not decided to do the inner work, shadow work, or stay at a lower frequency are going to continue experiencing karmic cycles over and over again and remain stuck in the false 5D matrix system. One, you'll be easier to manipulate, and also there will be no emotion. So basically you'll walk around kind of robotic.
Hearing you say this is giving me goosebumps. More recently, a lot of people have been throwing the term NPCs around, which, in gamer talk, stands essentially for a computer-generated player. They look human, you may interact with them, but outside of that short interaction with them, sort of like an extra in a movie, you look into their eyes, but you can't feel their soul is present.
They will continue to get the same lessons until they have no choice but to go inwards and come on board with those who are more conscious.
This is a good way of explaining how, for instance, two people living in the same town on the same street can be experiencing the world so differently because everyone creates their own realities.
Everyone has free will. We should not judge their choices. However, if you feel like you're in limbo, somewhere in between the old timeline and this new timeline, I highly suggest you do your inner work by clearing your negative karma that you have accumulated in your energetic blueprint chart, or you will continue to get trapped in these karmic loops. Also, when it's your time to leave the planet and make the transition, you will get stuck as an earthbound soul and may not even cross to the light and be taken by the darkness into a false heaven. It's already happening here on Earth. False rainbows in the sky and other forms of AI artificial manipulation. For those who live in the 5D reality through the heart gateway, when it's time for you to make the transition, you will be met by your angels, spirit guides, and other beings of light with no interference from the dark side.
Now, I know that sounds like a bunch of information Teresa Bombino has just dropped on us, one of her many truth bombs. But to chunk it down, it is a science, quantum physics to be exact. Time and space does not exist in the way we on Earth perceive or measure it to be. The universe is a multiverse, which means it is multi-layered. Because most of our vision is limited to 3D, that is all we can conceptualize. Our three coordinates, length, width, and height or depth, time, a place, and a date. The human capacity has stunted our minds in a way, not being able to comprehend that the future, present, and past are all happening simultaneously. Time is not linear, as this society has taught us, and that multiple parallel dimensions do exist with us living out different timelines, which is why the phenomenon déjà vu exists. In order to tap into the other realms, 4D, 5D, all the way up to the 12th, is determined by the inner work that you do, as Teresa mentioned. The only way is through and into yourselves to reactivate the sixth sense that we all have. It's like tuning into a radio frequency. Just because you don't hear the music playing until you turn the radio on doesn't mean it's not there. It always is, and until we work on reactivating that spirit ability, we will stay limited.
In the 11th dimension, in the real heavens, that's a very powerful place. And that's another reason why these dark forces are trying to occupy the Galactic Federation. This is why we have spiritual warfare. Because when you reach these altered states of consciousness through meditation, what ends up happening is all time stops. And when all time stops, you become a very powerful being, to the point you're actually seeing the entire universe. And when you get to this altered states of consciousness, you are a threat to these dark forces.
To summarize what the Galactic Federation is for anyone who may be listening and is new to this information, picture a group of people sitting at the top of these pedestals. They are selected representatives of different advanced non-human species, much like how we see the representatives at a round table at the UN. This makes up the Galactic Federation that oversees the health and balance of the universe. They each control their own galaxies individually. However, the Milky Way galaxy that holds the planet Earth is a creation that all intergalactic life forms hold a deep interest for because we are akin to them. Teresa is going to touch on this point momentarily, but it's important to mention that, like us on Earth, there is a division and adversaries also in space, and there are some members with lower vibrations within the Galactic Federation aligned themselves with people in positions of power many years ago that had broken the treaty of not intervening with Earth and its free will, like some of the Draco Star Galaxy, because there are different sects within the reptilians as well.
This is why they're tricking you and trying to manipulate you by distracting you with low-frequency music, drugs, alcohol, so they have easier access to you. Their goal is to take your soul, and when it's time for you to leave the planet, they want your soul. And this is where the bidding comes in from the underworld. You see, even these dark forces are aware how powerful God and the heavens are, or they would not be doing any of this. This is how far they'll go, by creating wars in the Galactic Federation, Stargate portals, or even wars here on Earth. And I'm here to help you save your soul. A channeled message from the Galactic Federation. Dear humans, we are your galactic friends. We do not wish to be seen as gods just because we have technology far more advanced than you. We are not superior to you. In fact, we do not believe in politics and money, which is the only way that was introduced to oppress you. And that's why we'll soon come to help you create a new reality here on Earth. Please be mindful of the 144,000 Lightworker Earth Angels here on Earth. We channel through them in order to give you messages for the collective consciousness. The indoctrination of your mind in this society is rooted in selfishness. By following them, your efforts shall fail. Implement the teachings of the Most High God and forget about the maze of the books that others have become lost in. In this spiritual warfare, the only way to persevere is by going inwards, because that's where all your answers are. So instead of looking at books as being the whole truth, especially the books that have been rewritten countless of times, and the chapters' omissions that have been lost in translation since ancient times, try bringing your awareness to your heart and find your own inner wisdom, because the divine force lives within you, and your heart is your only source of protection.
What you're saying actually reminds me of an excerpt from a book I'm reading where there's a person that's channeling a star being in a past life regression. Speaking exactly on what you're saying, the star being was talking about people's true motivations in life and how some species, by looking at us, can see our essence, which we call a soul. And they said human beings are most amazing to us, the star people, because they have so many conditionings and teachings and theories and beliefs that are applied as one goes through life. And by the time the person even reaches adulthood, that pure essence might be totally, completely covered over with teachings, beliefs, and indoctrinations, so that it's hard for the person to even have any sense that what they are is really a pure soul essence. And so because of this, all they can know is all these layers of teachings, beliefs, and doctrines that have been applied over their soul in that lifetime. And so they're blocked from being able to discover their sole purpose on Earth.
We are the co-creators of our own world. We must empower ourselves and feel the power within. Complete power. Surrender from everything and connect only through the heart. When you do this, you'll be able to remove yourself from any form of slavery, artificial intelligence, phantom false templates, and you will no longer get trapped by the devil's illusions. As you ascend, there's different levels for every devil. So the higher you rise, the brighter the light gets, the darker the opposition against you. By rising to the altered states of consciousness in the 11th dimension through the heart portal gateway, this is where you become a radiant soul, very powerful light body. This is where you witness miracles and connect with the angels. This is where you see the infinite, the oneness, the light is extremely bright. When you come back into your body, all this plasma light will beam out of you. It will trigger people of darkness because your light will irritate their inner demons. They want your soul because they see you as a commodity. And the wealth of the soul here on earth is the most expensive luxury. My heart hurts for all those children who lost their lives in the Middle East, and for those who are left without family, food, and water. I'm sending you endless prayers each and every day.
Congo, Sudan, Pakistan. The world is in turmoil. We've put together a special prayer for world peace online. I'll be linking it in the description box, but you can find it in our blog and YouTube channel. With this, Teresa has scribed a sigil for world peace that I have digitized, and it's available for free as a download for you to use with the prayer or your meditations and spell work. We're going to take a moment to hold space and reflect as we transmute these energies.
We can all agree that the journey through grief is different for all of us. We all take our own path, and when someone you love passes away, grief feels different for everyone. I am a channel of light, a spiritual medium, and my invocation of soul gazing is at the level of the 7th and 9th dimension. I connect with my celestial beings who communicate through me in order to bring in messages for your deceased loved ones. My God-given gifts allow me to bring in justice for anyone seeking spiritual investigation about a suspicious death, crime, or any other known factors. With precise vision of psychic investigation, divine revelation, and thoughtful reflection from my spiritual team, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. There is grace that comes from being at the bedside of someone you love as they make their transition from out of this world. At the moment they take their last breath, there's an incredible sacredness in that space. The veil between two worlds open. Remain calm and be present in the experience of the room. You will feel other presence supporting them along the way. Tune in to all the beauty and magic of the moment. Death is an incredible gift, and as a spiritual medium, it's an honor to witness a soul leave its physical body. I have witnessed what I perceive as an orange-yellow glowing ball of light that covers the entire body. A rush of energy pulls up and the light shines brighter. As your loved one makes the transition into the next life, the spirit is being held by angels and other beings of love. Since we're on the subject of mediumship and deceased loved ones, a few people have asked me over the years if it's possible to still have an ongoing relationship with their twin flames if they're deceased. The answer is yes. In Egyptian mythology text, the Book of the Dead, the script states the god Antum created the two gods Shil and Tufnut, each with half a soul. This is what we consider today to be twin flames or divine spiritual unions. When your twin flame passes away, it's only their physical form that's gone. Consciousness continues. The telepathy and synchronicities continue. In fact, spiritual gifts seem to heighten. If you possess psychic abilities, they will get sharper, and any dormant abilities will surface. You'll find yourself not dwelling on trivial things anymore. Your ability to connect with them continues, but differently, as their vibration and frequency is much higher. Therefore, meditation is key to making the connection with them by reaching those higher states of consciousness. Fortunately, I have an ongoing telepathic communication with my twin flame in the astral realm, even though we never met in the physical realm. Love transcends in all dimensions of time and space. Meditation is a beautiful practice. When you meditate and reach higher states of consciousness, you move around in the same space as death. To arrive in this beautiful space is pure awareness, and you never want to live anywhere else. This is the true form of who you really are. Your soul is immortal, and no one can ever take that away from you. So why are you afraid of death? You already had many past lives, and you're still alive. Your soul lives in a vessel having a human experience, and when you remove all of the layers, the programming, the conditioning, the teachings, you are no longer the biology, chemistry, psychology, or physiology. So why are you afraid of death? You already crossed the bardo. You've already entered the gates of heaven through your own practice. And that's why meditation is beautiful, because it's an experience of death in life, and your higher self is looking down at you, waiting for your physical body to expire. I've never felt like a human. There's a new wave of children that have come to Earth since 2018. These children are from the Orion constellation and they're highly evolved. Their mission here on Earth is to protect the Stargate portals and also act as guardians. They have a very high calling and know at such a young age what their assignment is. They use telepathic communication when connecting with the Orion constellation and know that they're different. How we can support these children is by accepting them exactly for who they are and helping them embrace their unique qualities and encourage them to honor their intuitive insights. So if they're speaking to you about their dreams or visions and they're drawing pictures that look a little different, or you happen to walk into a room and your child is speaking out loud and you feel that they're in trance, chances are they're communicating telepathically. Embrace them and foster an atmosphere of acceptance for their support. Encourage creative expression and recognize their artistic abilities. We can also support them by emphasizing mindfulness and spirituality, and help these children explore their innate spiritual gifts by promoting self-awareness and meditation. We can also connect with these children with nature as they will live more productive lives. All children are special, but these children in particular have missions and they always feel different. For instance, we are in 2023 and these children are about 4 to 5 years of age. So keep an eye on these children because they're really going to surprise you with lots of stories to hear from them. If you want more support, you can always visit your spiritual community and get in touch with a local medium. He or she will be able to sit with you and your child and give you more resources and also help you understand as a parent exactly what your child is saying. There's going to be another new wave of children that come to the planet between the year 2024 and 2027. These babies are incarnation of the time of Atlantis. They're very highly skilled and are healers by nature, and they will be working in the medical industry. Right now, they're in the astral working through the surgeons and doctors, whether the surgeons and doctors are aware of it or not, through their channeling to help save humanity. This is done because of all the malpractice in the medical industry, and these beautiful souls will come and hold the light and balance the scales. Speaking of babies and children, if anyone has ever lost a child, most likely was an incarnated angel, playing a role here on earth to teach us something. They say for every child that dies, it shifts the lives of thousands of people, possibly more, to give us lessons to help shift consciousness and see life differently. These angelic spirits in human form signed a contract before coming here on earth to play a role. For the grieving parents, no, you did nothing wrong. The child was not taken away from you to punish you in any way. For the mothers who were pregnant and lost a child through miscarriage or decided to abort a child, know that your child has signed a contract with your higher self prior to coming here on earth and work through you and your higher self. That child had just as much as free will as you did and decided not to come through you in this lifetime for various reasons. We may not have all the answers, but one day we will. During my meditations and mediumship practice, these children come through me and tell me that they're around their family members and reassure that they're in a better life and looking forward to greeting their family members on the other side. That is one thing that's guaranteed, that you will all be reconnected in the afterlife with your child or children. I will give you an example. I had a client a few years ago who came to me and lost her 2-year-old daughter. She wanted a message from her. Her daughter came through me telepathically telling me that if she had have lived, she would have been taken away from a drunk driver in a car accident at the age of 17 on her way home from university for the Thanksgiving weekend. She channeled through me, and her words to her mother were, "Mommy, I'm sorry. Better now than later. I know this does not sound fair, but I promise to be your guardian angel until we meet again." And so this child reassured me that she did this all for the love of her mother. Human beings are hybrids of different types of extraterrestrial races. Most people here on Earth carry a portion of the fallen angelic extraterrestrial DNA. However, there are still some people that carry the original angelic DNA coding. If you carry some of this angelic DNA coding, chances are you are an incarnate angel and light worker. Your mission here on Earth is to anchor the light for all of humanity, and you may even have a difficult path because you have a high calling. You are a highly evolved soul, and you have wisdom and knowledge of the angelic realm. These light beings originate from Lyrian constellation, the brightest star. Therefore, you are the bright light in the darkest room. And this is why these fallen angelics see you as a threat. When you get involved with someone romantically, use discernment, because this all could just be an orchestrated event to keep you trapped. Find out where their soul originates from, what they're hybridized with, and their soul archetype. Also find out if you had a past life with them. Their blueprint chart will determine how much karma they have accumulated. We all have free will, but please be mindful, because I've seen a lot of this in my practice, where people believe they have met their divine counterpart, only to find out this was an orchestration to try and keep you from accessing your ascension.
To add on to our discussion about consciousness and human vessels, angels that are capable of taking on human form, I actually have a dream excerpt to share that is on this topic. Because of how my day-to-day can be as a realtor, a good chunk of the channeling I do is in dream state. And I've got my dream journal, so I'm just going to read out what this experience was, the literal message that I got from it. But Teresa, I'd love to hear your interpretation of this as well. In this transmission, I dreamt I was observing a bunch of random people in the city. Everyone seemed to be wearing suits and black sunglasses. Picture sort of like that scene from The Matrix when Neo is walking through the city and everyone's almost looking super similar in how they are dressed. I overhear a lady and a man point out another person who's down the street. They walk over and they refer to him as the $6 million guy. The lady that was there approaches the man, and she was wearing a blazer and a pencil skirt. I noticed she was holding a clipboard or some sort of portfolio with a pen. And as she got closer, the man ends up looking at her with his sunglasses still on. They exchange looks and no words were said. But she then goes back to the previous person, the previous man she was standing beside. Suddenly, an argument occurs, and I hear that the lady says she's tired of these things happening and someone needs to take care of it. She storms off and starts walking down the sidewalk towards what looked like a outdoor patio sort of situation with a man who was serving drinks. As the bartender sees this lady coming towards him, he quickly begins to pack up everything. But it's as if she just continues walking right through him and everything is sort of dissipating. The canopy in the bar then reappears, and the lady is demanding to the guy to give her a specific drink. Now the bartender doesn't want to, so she grabs it out of his hands and she starts to chug the drink. As she takes a few steps away from that place, she ends up collapsing. Everyone around begins to panic. EMS shows up, and EMS is putting the lady into a black bag on a stretcher. And another younger woman appears from within her, zipping herself out of the woman's body bag. The point of view changes, so now I'm looking through the younger woman's eyes, but I'm sitting inside of the body of the previous woman with the pencil skirt. It feels as if consciousness kicks in. When I say I mean the younger girl. I come to and frantically start asking, what is my name? I pull up the edges of the black bag and I see a name. Written on one side of the bag, it says J.S. Phipps. My name was J.S. Phipps. A flood of information with a backstory from the scene comes to my mind. And the information was that angels were commingling with humans. All the strange, suit-wearing people were angels. So the woman in the pencil skirt was an angel. She got upset over matter that was happening on Earth, and she felt she could only repair it if she became earthbound. The bartender didn't want to give her the drink that would make her a human. And when the younger girl popped out of the vessel, she became an angel in human form. She was starting on Earth as a young adult in her 20s, which is why she was frantic on finding out what her assigned name would be so she could begin to blend in with human society. This was an excerpt that I recorded September 23rd of 2019.
Okay, so Erika, based on your dream, to see a body bag in your dream indicates that some aspect of you feels a longing for a place. I'm going to say Orion constellation. Although there is no distance and you are in touch with all of its surroundings, however, the drink signifies your spiritual self is thirsty for knowledge, because as we know, mystics are always seeking for more knowledge. I strongly believe your dream signifies a resurrection, new life, new shift in consciousness into the higher states, enlightenment into a new life, because the body bag represents your old self. I think it's an angel that comes through someone that is in your life to play a role. Let me give you an example. One day you meet someone, and for no reason, they will become your angel, but act more like a friend. And this person carries within them an angel, one sent to you for some higher purpose, to teach you an important role or lesson, or to also keep you safe during a perilous time. What you must do is trust in them, even if they come hand in hand with some pain and suffering. The reason for their presence will become clear in due time. A blessing in disguise. What appears to be a problem is actually part of the answered prayer. You'll come to understand the reason behind your present situation once everything becomes clear. Trust in heaven's protection and infinite wisdom to answer your prayer the best way possible. Your angels are working through other people in order to bring you your answers. I had a client of mine who was planning on going away, and he asked me for a reading about a woman he was interested in. I gave him his answers, and then he asked, is it okay if I take her to Cuba, even though I don't even really know her that well? Although it did sound like a great idea, my angel guides, however, were telling him not to go. From excitement of his plans, he was set in his ways, and we all do have free will. He went to Cuba. When he returned home, he mentioned he should have listened to the angels. That whole week they were stuck in a lockdown in their hotel, horrified. There was a hurricane. However, he did realize, although he chose not to listen, it was a blessing in disguise. He realized the angels were keeping him safe. He also mentioned he felt their warm presence of protection around him. And through this experience, he also had a spiritual awakening and felt he had a second chance at life. Earth angels align with pure loving energy, and doing so, helping others find their highest purpose in life. They are truth seekers and can transmute darkness into light, live in true harmony with the divine, and are strong-willed souls who refuse to follow the crowd, which makes them the new leaders in this new earth.
So, Teresa, speaking from your experience, how would someone be able to find out if they contain angelic coding? Is there a way to know this? And what is angelic coding exactly?
Human angels carry the 12-strand DNA, which is part of the angelic human heritage. They're here on a mission to reclaim the rightful ascension heritage of the 12-dimension strand crystal template. The angelic human and indigo races were sent on Earth into the Matrix as guardian protectors and healer force, intended to protect the living Matrix from the phantom Matrix system, and to assist all of humanity from the fallen races and universal systems. How do you know if you are a human angel? Well, angelic aspects of myself allow me to remember where I'm from, and I tend to get glimpses from the angelic realm and receive messages and insights. Angelic humans are souls that live in the 7th and 9th dimension. My family of light from the Pleiades and Lyran, my angelic lineage allows me to bring in natural attributes as well as angelic energy into this incarnation because it's so desperately needed on the planet. I was given many nudges and signs from Spirit along the way. Angels are self-sacrificing, and even though Earth is run by the dark elite, we are needed to bring in the light. The first sign that you may be a human angel is you just know. You were born different, you just know that you're a human angel. You get many synchronicities along the way. You vibrate at a different frequency in a high vibration. You know you're different than everybody else. But at the same time, you realize we can all learn from each other, as we are all one. Another sign of being a human angel, you receive channel messages, telepathic communication from the angelic realm in order to spread love and consciousness on the planet. They say you cannot enter the gates of heaven unless you burn through the ashes of hell. And that's why human angels have to go through so many dark times in order to ascend into this calling of their life. Human angels are used by Source to carry out the violet flame of life, which help cleanse anything in the environment as their feet pass by. They are divinely guided and protected at all times. If you like to book an angelic session with me or want to know more about Earth Angels, feel free to connect with us.
Now, you did mention what role they play, but why would they choose to incarnate here out of all places they could go?
Earth Angels are highly evolved spiritual souls. They vibrate with light and have been called to Earth to serve as light workers. They are born here on Earth, have, and for a while even believe they are human. Once awakened, they realize they embody angelic spirit in human form. They had to give up much to be here on Earth, including their high vibration, which must be lowered so they can be in a physical body. They give up their home, a place of love and light. Sometimes they are confused and feel like they do not belong here on Earth. But also sometimes they do not understand humans. They came here to serve humanity, assist all souls in the awakening and ascension process, help in anchoring the timeline of love, light, peace here on Earth, and humanity into the age of co-creation. Being one means you are called at the soul level to aid others, spread kindness and compassion, and make a difference here by bringing higher consciousness from the spiritual realm into the physical reality. Earth angels are on a different frequency. They are divine servants and have experienced angelic epiphanies. They have the capacity to see the spiritual realm and connect with deceased loved ones, see angels, spirit guides, ascended masters in the heavenly realms. They can communicate with the divine, manipulate energy and light and matter. They are gifted. They have different specialties and have a higher rank in the spiritual realm. The Pleiadians are manifestations of pure light consciousness. They are a highly creative society of beings or nearly perfect representations of infinite intelligence and had partaken in the original creation story and blueprint here on Earth. Much of our human DNA is fused with genetics of the Pleiadians, and they are the original founders of the family of light. And every human being today exists because of their decision to develop holographically. Created Earth in order to descend light and chemical density, integrating that energy into the collective human consciousness. These entities exist as primary 5th and 6th density light beings and are among the majority of the Wanderers and Starseed families. They are what is known as group consciousness or social memory complex, who exists approximately 444 light years away. Angels are more powerful than the stars. They can fly well beyond the speed of light. They can watch light as it moves from its source to another point in existence. They can travel from Earth through space and reach the heavens in a matter of seconds or minutes. Angels have spherical senses, which means that they sense surroundings in every direction, at every angle from themselves at the same time. They can see, hear, smell, feel, and sense existence in 360 degrees in all directions from their bodies. They can merge into one by the 10 in thousands, resulting in millions. Angels can also change their size. They can transform their shape. Angels can even transform into physical form. Transformations take place instantaneously. Angels are so powerful that they can take over any physical event in the cosmos, including an exploding star, or pull the gravity around a black hole. This is because they're made out of not natural, but supernatural energy and forces. They are created to guard and protect all existence, including the entire cosmos. But they can also destroy anything that is in opposition to the divine. All angels have assignments, their own mission. They have special abilities and can manipulate the human mind to open it to visual projections known as visions. They can also change a person's mind or cause a person to forget something without them even being aware of it. This is mainly when someone will do something that the divine prohibits. This is not a violation of their free will, but the exercising of the divine more important will. Angels are very powerful. They are very humble. They are made out of love and light. One angel can casually defeat hundreds and thousands of soldiers, put an entire army of humans to death in less than a second, and are the strongest force in the entire universe. There's a saying that says, "He who does not see the angels and devils in the beauty and malice of life will be far removed from knowledge, and his spirit will be empty of affection."
That's beautiful. That reminds me of what you were saying before about the gift of darkness. People would think that in a perfect world there would be no negativity. But as above, so below, it is a perfect world because the light cannot exist without the dark. And if we're describing things in terms of energy, it is based on how much kinetic energy, the average of particles a particular thing holds in comparison to another. As we delve into the topic of underworldly sort, just like doing your shadow work, you must understand and embrace the dark to then know and hold the light. The concept of demons is mentioned as far back as the Vedic era. These entities exist from another lower energy plane, but don't necessarily have a connection with the devil. Some of these demons were once angelic celestial beings, now termed fallen angels, that were outcast from the higher realms for their quote-unquote negative decisions. Others are simply supernatural independents from a lower level, which make up the underworld, that operate very similarly in the way humans live their life on Earth. Not strictly bad or wholly good-spirited in nature, but got that label of demon because of humans' fear of the unknown. There are also another class of entities that are called primordial, and their offspring primeval, multi-dimensional travelers from the primordial void that existed before the spark of first light, also depicted as good and evil depending on context. To make things simple, the entities people think of instantly in modern times as demons are from the Abrahamic religions created by Ain. To quote the book of Genesis, "In the beginning, when God created the heavens and the earth was a formless void, and darkness covered the face of the deep. While a wind from God swept over the face of the waters, then God said, 'Let there be light,' and there was light." And so in the before, where there was nothingness and there was the dark void, there were older gods, simultaneously pre-existing with the Abrahamic God of the Bible. I bring this up because it instills that if Ain is the opposite of the Abrahamic God, but everything that ever is, all one from the same source, that in itself explains why these matters coexist as a balance, because one cannot be without the other, which brings us back to the one source as the ambient energy within all. Speaking to only the evildoers, some manifest as energetic matter, others shape-shifting but require a vessel, and operate through siphoning energies. They are not attracted to good. They thrive off the negativity emitted as a negative frequency. But overall, demonic experiences are very different from humans experiencing a negative supernatural experience. Earlier, we discussed examples of spiritual crimes and what spiritual attacks could look like. These are the signs and symptoms to look out for. It's important to also mention that some of these signs and symptoms could also be manifestations, not only from dark entities, but traumatic experiences or soul fragmentation. The most distinctive sign of a spiritual attack is a mind takeover, where you know that thoughts are not your own. The intrusive thoughts are different from the ones you normally have, and the same would be applied to the types of dreams or nightmares that you experience. There's a sense of paranoia, an energetic sensitivity of always feeling like you're being watched. More extreme would be seeing moving objects. Alienation, there are the feelings of being alone or isolated. The paranoia and the fear gets drawn out in those moments of feeling isolated. So it's important to keep yourself level-headed and around people who will support you. And if you don't have people that can be supportive for you, it's good to integrate yourself into communities and surround yourself with the public so that you don't emit the frequencies of anxiousness, worry, or fear that they can continue to leech off of you. Other underlying feelings could be the feeling of being drained, unmotivated, or sometimes relying on vices to fill an empty void within. It could also be as simple as a sudden shift of feelings, of feeling defeated or discouraged, or feelings of depression that come out of nowhere. In those moments, when you feel this way, it's important to have a neutral standpoint and logically assess, why are you feeling this? Is there a logical reason to the feelings you're experiencing? To be able to distinguish what is of your own and what is from the outside attacking you. Other aspects could be the feeling that you have of going back to an older lifestyle that may have been an older habit, feeling temptations of things that you thought you moved past or moved on from. Old emotional wounds that you thought you healed are now resurfacing. And at times, overall confusion on not knowing what you're truly thinking or what you believe in, outside of your inner self and your energetic field. Physical manifestations could be a bunch of misfortunes that happen all around at the same time to your belongings or objects or things around you. In these moments, it's good to be cynical because the mind does play tricks on you. But it's important to be able to distinguish what is it that you're experiencing and perhaps keeping a log of it to be able to then differentiate, is this a spiritual attack or am I reliving a traumatic experience? Is this a dark entity or are you experiencing the loss of a soul fragmentation? This will help you retrace your steps to better find what these underlying causes may be from in the world around you. And if this list of signs and symptoms aligns with what you're experiencing and you do feel you need help, you're welcome to book a consultation, energetic body scanning, on our website under the Services tab.
Holding space for another is one of the wisest acts ever to achieve. My heart connects to your heart. I love you. I'm sorry. In your presence, I am here without judgment. The best relationship we can have is the one with ourselves, because people can only meet us as far as they have met themselves. The whole universe exists within us, and being in a relationship, we tend to learn a lot about ourselves. How a person speaks is exactly how they feel about themselves. How a person loves shows us exactly how much they love themselves. And how a person behaves determines how much healing they have done. Everything starts within us, therefore nothing is ever personal. We all have our different perceptions in life and see through our own filters. However, those who polish their heart will see things more clearly. And the more polished the heart, the more polished the intentions, giving clarity to the whole truth. Therefore, it's no longer a perception, it becomes perspective. It's not any different than cleaning our homes. It's important to keep up with the ongoing maintenance within ourselves. And to go inwards, we find all the answers. So instead of projecting anything onto others, clear your thoughts, polish your hearts, and cleanse your spirits. And when you're ready to reconnect again, you rise back up to the frequency of love.
It's been a great experience, and so glad we decided to put this together.
Trust in the unfolding of your life. Everything is working out exactly as it should. Be grateful, not because of the things you have, but just because. And do not take life so seriously.
Thank you to everyone who tuned in, and we trust your soul resonates with this episode.
Mwah.
Did you just blow everyone a kiss?
I did, and I love you.
Love you.
I love everyone. Bye. A message for the collective consciousness. Don't exchange your soul for material gains. It is in your soul where all the treasure lies. Stop going outside of yourself to seek what's already within you. Everything is simply well-decorated slavery. Fill yourself with infinite love, and you will be the richest person in the world. Your soul wants you to know you are enough. May you continue being exactly who you are. Self-reflection moment. Every day, for the rest of your life, sit in meditation for 10 minutes. Take one amazing childhood memory, the joy, the purity of it, and embody it. Embody that spirit. A childlike energy helps you defeat the aging process by looking younger and increases your longevity. Now is the time to return back to innocence. Innocence. Innocence.